So before we begin, I just want to acknowledge that here in Vancouver, I'm seated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded land of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. I know that many of you are on the land of other nations, so if you'd like, please feel free to write those nation names in the chat. Always let us remember our connection to our siblings in these nations and pray for the day in which we might be together in right relationship. So welcome. Welcome to Living Interfaith. Know that the whole of you is welcome here. You're not asked to leave who you are in your own homes. Please bring who you are in with you to this community today. But what you are asked to remember is that the others here today have brought in who they are as well, and all of goodwill are welcome. So now we're going to join together for our opening song.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of me. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, come, whoever you are. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again, come, whoever you are. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again, come.
Thank you so much, Bruce and Cheryl. Now I just have a couple of announcements. So a couple of weeks from now, on Saturday, November 2nd and Sunday, November 3rd, there's a Day of the Dead market on Granville Island at 1500 Old Bridge Street. So that's a Mexican holiday, as many of you know, to honor deceased loved ones. And the market will feature local artists and traditions, including a closing ceremony on Sunday, November 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. So the event is free and you can register at this link, which I will put in the chat. Sorry about that, I was on mute. So I was just saying that a couple of weeks from now, on Saturday, November 2nd and Sunday, November 3rd, there's a Day of the Dead market on Granville Island at 1500 Old Bridge Street. So that's a Mexican holiday to honor deceased loved ones. And the market will feature local artists and traditions and includes a closing ceremony on Sunday, November 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. So it's free, but you can register at the link in the chat. And then again on Sunday, November 3rd and Sunday, November 10th, the Metro Vancouver Alliance, which is a coalition of local faith groups, nonprofits, and union organizations, and of which we're a member organization, they'll be holding a training in community organizing. And so because we're a member organization, we can attend for free. So I'm going to put that link in the chat as well. And so just so you know, you're the first to hear about this, but on Monday, I'm going to be sending out a special email because I'm excited to share that the Living Interfaith Sanctuary is going to be offering a new online course from Harold Rosen. Yay! Who previously taught courses for us on women mystics and also did an afterlife series. So this course will be called Justice, Exploring its Global Development. And sessions will be held on Saturday morning starting November 9th on alternating Saturdays from our service days. So look for that email, which will go out on Monday and have a registration link. And finally, remember to save the date for Thursday, November 14th, which will be the kickoff event for the Peace Train, which Kathy will be participating in along with Samir and her family, and during which peace enthusiasts will travel to Ottawa and advocate for Canada to take a leading role in global peace initiatives. So the event will be at the Center for Peace in Vancouver from 6 to 9 p.m. And there's more information here. A registration link will be coming out shortly. And does anyone else have any announcements to share with us? Okay, so if not, I'll move into our opening prayer. So for our opening prayer, I'd like to read a Sukkot poem by Alden Solovi called Beauty Dances. Beauty dances with us whenever we build a tabernacle to God's holy name. Love sings with us whenever we rejoice in gladness on God's festive days. Peace cries with us whenever we yearn in prayer for God's holy shelter. Come, let us build this place, this tabernacle where we praise with all of our hearts God's pardon and promise. Let us build this place where we delight with thanksgiving and wonder in God's bounty and gifts. Come, let us build this place, this Sukkot Shalom, the shelter of peace, where beauty dances and love sings, where peace cries out, build, build, you children of Israel, a tent of holiness, strong and true. Build it in your heart, in your home, in your life, in God's world.
And I have a candle lighting prayer. So this is apparently one of the traditional prayers that's said on Sukkot and also when it's on Shabbat. And I know it was earlier in the week, but we're celebrating it on Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
Amen.
Praised are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who, sanctifying us with divine commandments, has commanded us to kindle the Shabbat and festival lamp. Thank you, Dorley. And then also, this is followed by this additional prayer. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehe heyanu, v'ki yamanu, v'hi gigianu, lezman hazeh. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who's given us life, sustained us, and brought us to this occasion. Amen.
Amen.
And now I'm going to invite all of you to greet one another with a sign of peace. So you can unmute yourselves and offer whatever you like as a sign of peace. So peace, everyone.
Peace to all.
Allow pa, everyone.
Peace. Salam.
Peace, everyone.
Peace be with you.
Peace, everyone.
Peace. Peace.
Shalom, salam.
Peace, everyone. May you all be blessed too. Thank you.
Shalom. Salam.
And now we'll have another song.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. Now I'm going to share our joint affirmation. And would anybody like to read it for us today? Or we can all read it together. We come together in peace. We sing together
in
joy
joy
and with love.
and with love.
Worship together
We worship
in one house.
in one house,
A house with names beyond
names
number.
beyond number.
Our paths
Paths
are many. Our
Our
beliefs are as leaves.
leaves,
And the tree that we cleave
cleave
to is nourished by the light of compassion, justice, and mutual respect. May our lives, our beliefs, and our actions help to bring about the world of love we all seek. And let it begin here. Thank you, everyone. Now is when we take some time to pray in our own homes and in our own ways. But recently we changed the format of the service to include a short meditation, which I realize I missed this morning. So why don't we start with that, and then we'll move into the prayer. So I'm just going to invite you all to kind of sit back in a way that feels comfortable for you. Put your feet on the ground, feel the ground beneath your feet. Rest your hands perhaps on your thighs. Maybe roll back your shoulders a couple of times and release some of the tension of the week. And just to invite you to breathe deeply in through your nose. Hold it for a couple of seconds and let it out through your mouth. And again, in deeply through your nose. Hold it for a few seconds and then release it out through your mouth. As we sit here in meditation together, continuing to breathe deeply, I invite you to reflect on all the things that you're grateful for this season. For the rain and the sun, for the ground beneath our feet, for the roofs over our heads, for the people we love and who surround us, for the community that we share, for the music that we get to experience through our ears, and the colors and the nature that we get to see through our eyes, for the fact that we can move around, that we can hug each other, shake hands, hold hands, that we can dance and move. All of these things that we so often take for granted. And as you open your eyes and come back to this room together, I invite you to bring that sense of gratitude with you. Now is the time we take some time to pray in our own homes and in our own ways. So we'll sit together in silence, and I invite you to reflect more on your sense of gratitude this season, or pray for those who don't have so many of the basic necessities and abilities that so many of us take for granted in our daily lives: shelter, the ability to move, the ability to touch, the ability to see and hear, the food that we share. Let's just take some time in silence together. Thank you. Now we'll join together to sing another song.
Achat Shalim Adonai Kadesh. Achat Shalim Adonai Kadesh. Shivti b'veit Adonai koyom lechaya לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו אחת שאלים אדוני הקדש אחת שאלים אדוני הקדש שבתי בבית אדוני כל ימי חיי לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני ולבקר
Teamwork. So yeah, now we also have another new part of our service that we've incorporated, which is Interfaith in the World. So this is an opportunity for anyone present to share something that might be happening in their community or their part of the world or that they're aware of elsewhere related to interfaith. Connie, I was wondering if you want to share about our calendar launch. Oh, you're on mute, Connie.
There we go. Okay, so now I've got to get rid of this thing here. Okay, yes. We're the Multi-Faith Action Society has got our new calendars all printed for 2025, and we are partnering with you and with the Living Interfaith Sanctuary to launch the calendar at the Center for Peace at the train launch. The trains sent off on November 14th. So if there it is, so it they marching across there. I have it here too. Yeah, there you go. And we're really excited about the calendar. I think every year the calendar seems to get better and better. It's got local, well, it's pretty local artists that contribute to the to each of the months. So it's a beautiful calendar, and it's also an educational piece. So it tells so much about the different faiths that are represented. I think we got about 25 different faiths represented in the calendar. And anyway, if you want to know more, show up at the launch, November 14th at the Center for Peace in Vancouver.
Yay. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any events or thoughts they want to share about interfaith in the world?
I have something else.
Okay.
It's just an ongoing thing about what's been going on in the military base here in Comox. We're having our second multi-faith gathering. We had the first one last month, and it was such a success. And now we're having our second gathering. So we are now going to, this gathering will be to kind of solidify the things that we want to do together, and how it might, manifest itself in the Comox Valley. I'm really excited about the response. It's been absolutely incredible from the different faith groups here. So that's another interfaith announcement.
I'll share briefly. I work as a spiritual care practitioner in community palliative care in Vancouver. And we're starting an initiative starting in November, which I'm very excited about, an interfaith grief circle. Time for ritual and pause for the staff. This is designed for nurses, occupational therapists, dietitians, whatever, whoever's on the palliative care team and who helps support our clients and community. So I'm very excited about it. It's a new initiative, and we'll see where it goes, but there's been a positive response so far, and just the kind of like putting the feelers out to the team. It's always a little interesting to offer something with the word faith in it, within the secular environment of healthcare. So, it's kind of bridging these worlds, but yeah, so I'll keep you updated about how that goes. So interfaith grief work, which I think is extraordinarily important for people who work with folks at the end of life and unexpected traumatic deaths, whatnot. So we'll keep that in our hearts and minds too. Thanks.
Thank you for sharing, Dorley. And I think you need to connect with Lizette, who does grief work in the downtown east side as well.
I just wanted to mention that coming up on November 2nd and 3rd, these are what the Baha'is call the Twin Holy Days. They celebrate the birth of our forerunner and founder of the faith. And they're the only holy days on which we actually celebrate on a lunar calendar, because they were both born in Iran, which was under a Muslim lunar calendar. And if you're interested, I'm just look up the Baha'is close to you. There will be celebrations all around the world on those days.
Thanks so much, Bill. And we're also going to be doing a service on the Twin Holy Days that's going to be led by John and Annette Luthi, so who are present with their cameras off, Dorley's parents. So we're very excited to hear from them. Yeah.
I have one more thing to say. I came across this is on YouTube. It's a song with pictures, and it is just, it speaks to my heart. And if you want to go on YouTube and find Thrive, it is, yeah. Anyway, I'm just putting it out there. It was so impacting on me that I sent the link to just about everybody on my contact list, and I listened to it about a bazillion times so that I learned all of the words, and anyway, it speaks to all of the things that in all of our faith traditions. Anyway, and I think it was put together by Baha'i. Anyway, I'll shut up now.
Well, thank you for sharing, Rebecca. I look forward to checking that out. Okay, so if that's all for today, We're going to move on to sharing our wealth. So now is the time when we invite you to share in making our community possible. Some of you already donate regularly, and others have contributed generously of their time or financially to our annual stewardship campaign, and that allows us to keep our community going. So as most of you know, we rely entirely on donations to pay for our small staff, musicians, and technology, and to bring in our wonderful speakers from different traditions. So no amount is too small, and I'm going to go ahead and post that link now in the chat. And now we'll come together to sing another song.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce our speaker, Avi Dolgin. Avi is a longtime practitioner and experimenter in Jewish theology and ritual. Active in his liberal synagogue, Avi has been a teacher, a prayer leader, a storyteller, a ritualist, and a generally serious free spirit for years. We're excited to welcome Avi today with his partner Avril, who are joining us from Hornby Island. So over to you, Avi. And you're on mute, Avi.
Right. That's why I have Avril in my life. So many things that she tells me that I need to know. Chag Sameach to everybody. Chag Sameach is Hebrew, basically means happy holiday. And I've dropped that one into the chat because it might be useful to you in the future. It's an all-purpose Jewish greeting that you can use if you're not too sure what to say to somebody on Passover or Hanukkah or something. And I've even tried two alternate spellings of the ch sound in Chag Sameach. Also, I want to say this is Zman Simchatenu. All of the various holidays in Judaism have a particular name or designation. This one is called Zman Simchatenu, which means the season of our joy. So it's certainly a pleasure to be here. It's a strange designation because, as I'll go into it, there are a lot of rituals connected with the holiday, and they aren't particularly, rah-rah joyous things to do. They're more thoughtful, appreciative, and even slightly fearful things that we do. So in putting this together, I wanted to do about 3 sections. First, I'll give you the background of the holiday. Then I'll go through some of the rituals that are associated with the holiday, things that we do, things that you may have seen in movies, things that you were invited to do. That will also have an activity component in which I'll be calling upon you to do something. And in the end, I want to talk about contemporary relevance of the holiday, social and psychological issues involved. So, for starters, wiki review of the major plot line of the Hebrew Bible. The children of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, all the early Hebrews end up, because of Joseph, they end up in Egypt, got there by famine. And in time of environmental change like this, it's worth remembering that people are forced to move because of climatic changes. While in Egypt, a new pharaoh arises, oppresses them, puts them into slavery. God comes by and picks somebody. Hey, you, Moses, you got the job. Get these people out of here, Moses goes and deals with Pharaoh, let my people go. Pharaoh says, no, no, no. There's a whole series of plagues, darkness, and locusts, and all this, which fall down upon Egypt. In the end, Pharaoh says, okay, I give up. You guys can leave. They leave. They head out into the desert, heading toward the promised land, the land of Canaan, where their earlier ancestors had come from. They receive the holy revelation of Sinai, which is the kind of the core of Jewish belief and practice. And then they sort of mess up along the way. And God says, you know what, you guys, you've got a slave mentality. You are not fit to go and build a new society. So we're going to keep you here in the desert for about 40 years. And so they live in temporary shelters along the way as they move from place to place. Ultimately, Moses dies, Joshua takes over, they fight the Battle of Jericho, enter the land, and it seems like it's been battles ever since. But we'll leave that aside. But the period of traveling in booths is then remembered in this particular holiday. The leaving of Egypt is commemorated in the holiday that you might know well, which is the Passover. It may or may not be the case that Jesus was observing a Passover feast in the Last Supper. That's debatable. Lesser known is this holiday, the holiday of Sukkot, which commemorates the moving through the desert and which involves the building of little booths called Sukkot. The singular is Sukkah, the plural is Sukkot, and other practices with it. When I looked into the Bible again to see all this, it's interesting that this holiday isn't simply described intact in one place, but rather it appears somewhere, some of it's in Exodus, and some of it's in Leviticus, and some of it's in Deuteronomy, and we're told different things about it. You will have a holiday of the harvest. This is known as the harvest holiday, but that doesn't particularly talk about the booths. And then there's a holiday that says you'll have a holiday of booths, but it doesn't necessarily mention that we'll bring in 4 objects to do strange things with. And there's one which says, and they will be at this holiday, and you'll bring in these 4 objects, and it will. And so at later times, Jewish practice and the rabbis kind of took these 3 or 4 independent descriptions of a fall celebration and merged them into this 8-day sequence of living in booths, experiencing the harvest, acknowledging our sense of impermanence, and also, because it is a harvest festival, the Thanksgiving elements, which are involved in all the good earth-based religions. So the harvest holiday, if you go inside somebody's sukkah today, decorated in North America, you're likely to see like hanging gourds and pumpkins, very Halloween type of stuff, because after all, we're Canadians. Children are asked to decorate it. So the inside of a booth can get quite interesting. So I have a series, hang on, we'll just figure out here, screen share, and I go to this one here, and okay, varieties of Sukkot. All right. So just to give you, where the heck did they go? Help. Oh, here we go. So I just wanted to give you a quick tour of what a sukkah might be, because the crew back there was very industrious last night building a sukkah. People checked with me. I told them that, in fact, yes, you can use the side of an elephant. You have to build at least 3 walls or something, and it has to have a covering which is open and open to you can see the stars through it. The covering has to be enough to give you a sense of enclosure, but open enough and porous enough that you're aware of your place in the cosmos. So contemporarily in North America, people might do something like this. You put up a frame structure, and then you hang cloth around the outside. If you look at this one, you can see kind of over on the inside, there's certain little decorations going on in there. You can see along the top, the branches which are laid down. This one is clearly not a British Columbia one, because of the roofing that's been chosen. I know that my friends and I traditionally in Vancouver find out where the city of Vancouver is doing leaf and tree trimming. And we go and chase behind the trucks and take down the branches that they've been cutting down before they get put into the chipper. And then we, take these back, and then people ask each other, "Do you have stuff for your sukkah? Do you have stuff for your sukkah?" "Yeah, well, there's, the crew's over there on West 43rd Avenue today. Get down there quick." This is a sense of the inside of a sukkah. Notice the natural branches above, and the father and child, who are probably hanging little decorations, pom-poms, paper chains. Family near me always does kind of popcorn, cranberry, popcorn, cranberry, popcorn, cranberry, hanging from the string, which is fruits and vegetables. Oh, and I've got help in the background here. This one is taken from probably Jerusalem. Just to give you a sense of the architecture in the area, people will build with a small balcony. You can see that they've got flowers and pots and all that hanging from the balcony, so people will sit out there in the summer. But it's been built so that religious people can erect a sukkah outside of their house. This one has plywood walls, but it has clearly a local covering. Here's a couple of funky local things. This one you can tell is done in somebody's backyard, because here's the little barbecue just outside the sukkah. It looks like they've used corn stalks for the covering, and kids art, right? Sat down with the kids with pencils and pens, and drawn pomegranates, which are a traditional symbol. Here again, very lightweight, simple sukkah. It fulfills the criteria. It has 3 walls. It's got the covering. Some of them, again, get quite large. That's how big they can be. This is all these photos, by the way, I took from the web. These are none of mine. But you can see inside this sukkah, which has a major cross beam at the center structurally, and then they've put bamboo along the top, which is a natural ingredient, but I don't think they can see the stars. So I might be a little picky on this one. But there's a lot of artwork decorates the wall. You have at the very back there a Happy New Year, Shana Tova, dove of peace. And some of them can get quite elegant. I mean, fine tablecloth settings, beautiful tapestries down the side. So some people can really kind of, really make a big to-do of it. And partly it's because it's unlikely that this family actually has 4, 10, about a dozen people in it, but they are probably big into the practice, which I'll come to, of inviting guests. And it is traditional to invite guests. The word which is used is an Aramaic word, ushpitzin. But the idea of the sukkah becomes actually a fertile ground for creativity. A number of years ago, there was a contest or an exposition in New York City called Sukkah City, in which they gave people the basic criteria for a sukkah: how big, how tall, what the top must be, and the fact that the walls can be anything. And people came up with just a variety of creative sukkah ideas. That's one. Here's another one. With the wood slats leaning in, and there seems to be almost like a giant eagle's nest type of material above it. This is set up in one of the parks in New York, and if you look behind that one over there is this one. I'm not too sure this necessarily would satisfy the rabbinic criteria, because I don't know whether a circle constitutes 3 walls. It might. But you can see the idea that it's sort of very tree-like, including, if you look in close, birdhouses. The thing is just filled with little birdhouses. And the artists have kind of replicated nature in that way and tried to invite nature to share with. Here's simply somebody else's photo of people sitting in that sukkah. And as I said, you could even make a one-person sukkah if you're alone. Look at this little elegant thing. on the roof of some deck. I don't recognize the city where it is. This particular sukkah I noticed online from a place that you can order them from. This is a prefab sukkah. I don't think it's IKEA who carries it, but you could probably put it all together with a little IKEA wrench. The furniture inside, the rug and the roofing, that's all been sourced locally. But I suspect the framing and the mesh is all part of this kit. You can get it from, I don't know, Sukkahs Are Us or something like that. And I'll come back to that one later. Okay. So now I have to kind of figure out how to end screen sharing.
Just hit end at the top there.
Just hit and stop share up there. Thank you. And we're back to me. So those are, just a variety of the creativity that can go into it. And I mentioned the idea of having guests. The Ushpizin is the old Aramaic name. And the Orthodox way of doing it is you invite in the various guests from sort of our ancestors from the Bible, Abraham and Moses and all that on different days. Over the course of the 7 or 8 days, you can invite quite a few. A more contemporary view, in fact, is that many of us will try to who do we wish were with us here tonight? And we might invite in teachers. We might invite in people who are traveling or away. And very often, people will invite in those who have departed. I was asked this the other night, who did I want? And I just suddenly wanted my grandmother, who I last saw when I was 12 years old before she passed away. And we try to bring the spirits of various people to dwell with us. That's a sukkah. But I want to go now to something a little different. And don't ask me any questions. Just do what I tell you to do. Here's the activity part of our time together. I want you to get up when I say go, and you will have 60 seconds. That's it. To go and locate 4 items in the room where you are. Any 4 items. It could be a spoon. It could be a book. It could be the only criterion I have is that they're small enough that you can hold all 4 of them together in your hand. Okay? And for those of you who are all there together in one room, run around in a melee, grabbing this, grabbing that, grabbing the other, and come back here to the screen. All right? So 4 items, anything at all, so long as you can hold them all together. I'll meet you back here in 60 seconds. On your mark, get set, go. Okay, are we all back with our 4 objects? I'm not too sure what's been chosen, but the 2 people behind me were cackling feverishly, and I had to turn off my, I had to mute here. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the 4 objects, whatever they are. Well, first of all, since you can hold them, would you please hold them up in front of the camera so we can all see? Let's go into perhaps into gallery view and see what people have brought. Okay, I'm seeing some phenomenal variety there. Okay, Connie, that's an amazing collection. All right, Sam, you've got them all in one hand. That's good. They're small, but you've got them collected. Yeah. Oh, Dorothy, yours are. Oh, I make out the apple. Can't see the rest. Okay. And for the crew who's behind me, all right. Now, here's what you need to do. You have to look at the 4 objects. which are four diverse objects, have almost nothing in common, and find one way in which two of them share some quality. Any quality, like, oh yeah, they're both stones, or they both belong to my son, or I got them both in the kitchen, whatever it is. Find a way in which two of them share a quality, but the other two don't have that quality. So you can kind of sort. Do it in your head. Understand what your sort was. Okay, A goes with B and C and D don't. Now, I want you to do a different sort, find another way that two different things go together, like the way B goes with D, perhaps, or B goes with C. A different attribute completely that two of them share and two of them don't. Now, if you've got that in your head, I would like people to, if somebody could just unmute, come up and show us the four objects you have and how you've grouped them this way and how you group them that way. Okay, I'm going to go into gallery view here so I can see everybody. Okay, who would like to go first?
I've got two.
Okay.
Okay, these are two that pinch.
Oh, two pinchers. Okay, and two that don't pinch.
And then two that don't pinch. These are the two that don't pinch.
Okay.
And then I've got two that correct things. The eraser, and this takes out staples that I made a mistake and need to unstaple it.
Okay. So pinch, no pinch, correct, no correct. Thank you. Perfect. Lovely. Somebody else have their four objects and would like to show their way of doing it.
I have two objects here that are electronic, a flashlight and a backup battery. And then my other two objects are things that I might use every day, a small journal from Daihatsu and a coffee cup from a museum to Mushli.
But those are your other two objects which didn't match the first one.
Right, right. And they're everyday objects. The others I use maybe once every few weeks. So.
Okay, well, I'm looking for those. If maybe you can get one of your electronics as one of them paired with something else.
Okay, I'll get my flashlight and my journal, and I might use the flashlight to illuminate my journal in a dark room when I want to write something down.
Insights. Okay, insights and non-insights, illumination and thoughts. Somebody else? Maybe one more?
I can go.
Yes, please do.
Two items that are medicinal use. This, even though it's not labeled, it's like eczema cream. And these two, a piece of paper and a pen, are used to convey information. It sounded like, based on what you said, you wanted a different combination as well, maybe?
Yeah, so of the four items, A goes with B one time and A goes with D another time, right?
Yeah, both of these, I guess three of the things have writing in them, but these two have writing that, is like informational, that's useful. I guess this pen also has writing in it, but it's like a logo.
Now, the reason I did that is because I have here a lulav and etrog. Very widely used. I mean, this is the other symbolic thing in Sukkot holiday. Your sets of four are your lulav and etrog. This is mine. Now, the reason I asked for four is because This is called the etrog. It's a citron. It's something in the lemon family, citrus family. Okay. It's got a smell to it. The other three items are a palm branch, which has been closed up and tied shut, and two other plants, myrtle and willow. These four together are generally referred to as the arba minim, the four species. You have your own four species over there, which, although you didn't know that that's what you were getting. There is a point in the Torah, in the Hebrew Bible, where we are instructed on this holiday to gather together four species. They aren't specifically named. We're told to get like a goodly plant, and so they chose this as being because it's fruitful, and choose something of majesty, so they chose the palm. And at a later point, the rabbis decided this would be probably what God had in mind and mandated that this is the set of four. Now, given that I am here in the Pacific Northwest, personally on the lands of the Comox Pantalach peoples, my son, Noam, who got mentioned earlier, went out and put together a local set of four, which is a cedar branch in great profusion, and then salal over here, and Oregon grape over there, and rather than a lemon, we have an apple, which we just picked off of a local tree just down the block from us at our friend's place. So this is our sort of Cascadian lulav and etrog, not particularly mandated by the rabbis of old, but a parallel to this one, which was mandated by the rabbis of old. Now, why did I ask for the 2x2 categories, like these are plastic and those are not plastic, or these are writing and these are not writing? There's a number of ways of understanding the lulav and etrog, and I'll give you two of them fairly quickly. One is as a 2x2 breakdown, that two of these things are in fact edible. The date palm produces dates, and the citron can be used as a food product. But two of them, the myrtle and the willow, are non-edible. Okay, that's one category. But do it a different way. Two of them are deemed to be fragrant. By this point, they've all kind of dried up, so it's a little lost here. But the citron, the etrog, has a fragrance, and then one of these, I think the myrtle, and the myrtle, thank you, the myrtle is supposed to be fragrant, whereas the palm and the willow are not fragrant. So what you have is you have something which is both edible and fragrant, something which is edible but not fragrant. We have something which is non-edible and fragrant, something which is non-edible and non-fragrant. As you would have in your categories over there, something which is, for, however you all put it together. All of that is deemed to be a metaphor. And the metaphor is that there are people of spirit, and that's what the fragrance represents, and there are people of action, and that's what the fruitfulness represents. Some people are blessed by spirit or are involved in spiritual quest, and also very active in social action, in trying to repair the world, in working for justice, in taking care of the ill, in whatever it is. Those are people with fragrance and edibility, okay? But there are people who are very involved in the spiritual world, but are not particularly out there in the world doing a lot of good work. On the other hand, there are people for whom the spiritual world is not important, it's not part of their driver, but they are very, very active in peace work, environmental concerns, caring for the elderly or the sick or whatever it is. So they are without spirit, but with work. And then there are people who I don't know, they're Canucks fans. No spirit, no. But the fact is, our community represents all of us. And the reason I wanted you to have 4 items that you could hold in your hand is because what the rabbis say is that we bring all 4 of them together. And that there is a practice involved, and we will go to it in a few minutes, in which you hold them all together. The community is made up of both those people who are putting in a lot of spiritual work and those who are not, those who are putting in a lot of social work and those who are not, but we're all one community. And your personal, find lulav around your house will represent that. And next time you look at it, you might actually think, oh, this is my spiritual side, but it's not my side that's doing a whole lot of whatever. There is another way of looking at the Arba Minim. The Arba Minim, which translates as 4 types. There is a whole other interpretation of them, because the Bible doesn't actually give an interpretation. These are all later on. The lulav, the long one, these are all deemed to be parts of the body, representatives of the human being. So the lulav is our spine. It's our strength, it's our backbone, it's our determination. The etrog is the heart. It's the seat of both emotion and, in those days, of thought, intellect. All of that which makes us truly spiritual humans is represented by the fruitfulness of the etrog. The shapes of the myrtle and of the willow, one looks like eyes and one looks like lips. And so this represents what we take in, how we perceive the world, our senses of perception. And this, our lips, is what we put out to the world, our senses of expression. So our strength, our awareness, our speech, our hearts and minds, that is also all held together. And though your particular lulav made of your random objects there don't have these shapes, feel free to imbue them with that. So what do? Every day, you go into your sukkah, if possible, or you bring them to the synagogue, or you do it in the house. And you take these items, hold them together, and we shake them in the 6 cardinal directions. 6 cardinal directions being, to your right, to your left, forward, back, up, and down. Now, there are people here who are well versed in, I think, earth practices, might even be better than me in explaining them. I just want to read you a quick poem which I was given. To the east, which in this case, let's see, I'm facing north right now here, so there's east. Okay. The east, vision, ruach, spirit, vision and perspective. And as I move this to the east, we give thanks for the gifts of new beginnings and possibilities, open to gifts of insight and perspective. To the south, behind me, the quality here is Aish, fire. It's about passion, creativity, and devotion. And the attached prayer is we give thanks for the abiding love that sustains us and opens us to passionate inspiration. To the west, the spirit of Mayim, water, right? We've had wind, fire, water. We give thanks to the bestowed by the unfolding mystery. And we ask for security, we trust to engage, and we participate in what is unfolding. And then to the north, which is the way I'm facing now, clearly is the earth, full of ancient wisdom. And we pointed this way, we honor our ancestors, and all of the earth, we're open to the wisdom, and we live in reverent relationship to them. Going up, of course, we acknowledge all that is beyond us, the heavens, all things beyond our way of knowing. And when we go down to the earth, we are based in our home, our sense of rootedness, our sense of location. And in the end, we bring it in to us, touching the heart, trying to ground ourselves in all of that. Now that's a poem, or an inspiration that I was given the other day when I was shaking the lulav with some teachers of mine. I have simply a much simpler one, and maybe be helpful to you because I'm going to invite you to do this. I'm a righty. When I shake to the right, I'm acknowledging my strengths. And when I shake to the left, I'm still honoring the areas in which I am weak. When I shake forward, I invest it with my hopes for the future. And when I shake backwards, I do it with an appreciation of the past. And like Edith Piaf, rien, je ne regrette rien. Above, to a spiritual growth, which I hope to have. And down to a groundedness of action. And so I invite you now to take your 4 things, look at them, imbue them with a sense of meaning, qualities, stand up. You've been sitting in front of the computer for too long. And at your own speed, shake them, your 4 items, in all 6 directions: past, present, strength, weakness, and in the end, bring it to your heart and incorporating all the lessons of life that Sukkot can bring you. Folks over there aren't shaking.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Okay. I've just been warned, be careful with my timing. I'm going long. All right. That's what happens. I always prepare at least 60 minutes worth of stuff for a 20-minute talk. All right. Let me speed along. Okay. Into issues of contemporary relevance. What is Sukkot? If we are living in little booths, it is clearly there's an issue about temporariness. And whereas I gave you before this lovely picture of affluence, here is another sukkah that was built for the sukkah exhibit. These are all homelessness signs. The person who built this sukkah went across the country, meeting people who are homeless, who are holding up signs, looking for food, looking for shelter, looking for help. He bought every one of the signs, cardboard signs, off the people, telling them what he was building. And then this sukkah, which is composed of the actual elements of homelessness of the people in the streets of America, speaks to the social impact of what Sukkot should tell us. We who are comfortable in our homes are indeed truly fortunate. Homelessness is one of the messages, but I have to also acknowledge, and it's underplayed, since it is a festival which acknowledges a time that we traveled from place to place, the terrible impact on refugees. And as a Jewish person, I am aware of the people who cannot go back to their kibbutz because of the horror and the trauma of waking up one morning on the 7th to invasion and just cannot go back. The people in northern Israel who cannot go back to their area for waking up on the 8th when the shells started coming in for Hezbollah. But beyond that, the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of displaced Gazans and now Lebanese who woke up one morning to orders to vacate because the planes were coming over and that their pharmacies were bombed. They took their children from Khan Yunis and went to Gaza City because that was safe. And then they had to leave Gaza City and go to Rafah because that was safe. And then Rafah, they were bombed and moved 2, 3, 4, 5 times. The sense of horror that refugees are living through today, especially the refugees in the country surrounding Israel, and for which the religious leadership on both sides bears the responsibility of putting politics above humanity. Anyway, I can't not say that. The final thing that I want to go to is that Sukkot is traditionally viewed as the harvest festival. And so you have, fruits and all those decorative things. And so it is Thanksgiving. And as we began at the beginning, as Rachel led us through a meditation, the things for which we should be thankful, for our food, for our health, for where we live, for the people that we know. Sukkot is also the reminder of that. I think ultimately, if you view yourself as a sukkah, if you view the booth as being the body, as we're suggested that this is our eye, our heart, our spine, that we are at this time bidden to look at our own impermanence, bidden to view ourselves as simply being pilgrims on a historical journey of our species. And that for the short time that I am given on this earth, and as I watch various parts of that body decay, and then try to remind myself, no, I'm a young man. I'm younger today than I ever will be again. This is my youth. Only partially convincing. It's a time of feeling gratitude, but also feeling some fear, feeling the impermanence, looking up through the sukkah at the sky and feeling my total insignificance in the world of the total cosmos, feeling the fear that, oh my gosh, I hope we can sit in the sukkah before the rain comes. And sure enough, we had a lovely first night and then we got washed out. That sense of how long will I endure? How long will I be able to manifest, if I can, both the qualities of spirit and the qualities of action, that one of the 4 qualities of the Lulav and Etrog. That's my goal. I would like to close with a bit of a reading here. I had some other ones, but I'll leave this as a final prayer to you. Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the universe, through the agency of the life force and the intelligence that you have placed within the etrog, the lulav, the willow, the myrtle, may our hearts be filled with compassion and joy. May our spines be strong and upright. May our eyes look for the good in each other. May our mouths speak with kindness, with wisdom. May we taste and smell the beauty that is around us. May what we have learned be applied to what we do. And may what we do inspire us to learn even more. And may these good deeds and studies be aligned in a unity as we seek to walk in your ways. Amen. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Avi. That was amazing. Really learned so much from your talk today. And I really appreciated the interactive portion of it and the way that just brings us into our body and into relationship with spirit and action and each other and the earth. So thank you so much.
I'll stick around, by the way, and often people stick around for a chat. I'll stick around for a chat afterwards if people want me to.
Wonderful. I was going to ask you if you would be willing. So deeply appreciated. So we're going to join together in one more song, then I'll end with a closing prayer. And after that, we'll do what Avi just suggested and stick around for a chat. So over to you, Bruce and Cheryl.
Shabdemayim bisason mi manea Yeshua. Shabdemayim bisason mi manea Yeshua. Mayim 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 mayim. Oh mayim bisason. Mayim 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 mayim. Oh mayim bisason. Hey 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 hey. Mayim 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 mayim. Besason, mayim, 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 besason. Ushabdim mayim, besason, mi menaya Yeshua. Ushabdim mayim, besason, mi menaya Yeshua. Mayim, 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 oh mayim, besason, mayim, 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 mayim. Oh, mayim, besason. Hey, 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 hey. Mayim, 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 besason. Mayim, 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 besason. One more time. Ushabdim mayim, besason. Mi menaya Yeshua. Ushabdim mayim, besason. Mi menaya Yeshua. Mayim, 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 mayim. Oh, mayim, besason. Mayim, mayim, mayim. Oh, mayim, besason. Hey, 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 hey. Mayim, 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 besason. Mayim, 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 besason.
Fun song to end on. Thank you so much. That was so enjoyable. So I'll just invite you all to join me in a closing prayer. And I invite you to think of anyone you want to invite into this room, as Avi mentioned in his talk, any spirits of those who've departed, any loved ones who are traveling, any friends who can't be with us today. Invite their spirits in to share this moment with all of us. And together, may we feel held in love. May we remember to value one another, our communities, our words, our actions. May we remember to give thanks for the abundance that we have, for the roofs over our heads. May we remember to support those refugees and others around the world who are less fortunate than ourselves. May we make our bodies into a sukkah. May we keep our spine erect and stand tall in truth and justice. May we keep our hearts open to embrace each other and ourselves. And may we invite guests in. May we remain hospitable and open, not only to our loved ones, but to those that we often turn away from. Amen.